Welcome to Foundation Friday. The dedication and covenant of silent unity was signed on December 7th, 1892 by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, founders of the Unity movement. It is unlikely when they signed this covenant that they had any idea how far-reaching unity would be as it evolved into the church we know and love today. We invite you to join us as we explore and share some of the original ideas, teachings, and writings of the men and women who created the foundation of the Unity Church.
Hi there. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Foundation Friday program. Today we are going all the way back to the beginning of unity and the unity movement that we know today. And we're looking at some of the wisdom from Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore. Those of you familiar with Unity know that Myrtle and Charles Fillmore were both suffering from physical limitations and found healing through metaphysical methods. And that's where unity began. Well, in 1936, after Myrtle Fillmore had already passed, several of her letters and writings were pulled together and published in a book called Letters of Myrtle Fillmore. And in this book, we find different chapters of letters that she wrote. And today we are looking at her letters on threefold healing. I always get a little thrill reading Myrtle Fillmore's lessons on healing because I know what she taught worked and still works today. I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Two of your statements prompt us to a little explanation before giving the outline for treatments. One, I am wondering if you will send me, also my brother, some health vibrations. Two, we are asking you to relieve us through silent unity healing. We are just not sure that you understand. You are to cooperate with us by studying the truth so you may come into the understanding of the divine laws of health and life and prosperity by joining us daily, regularly in the prayers that we shall suggest. Okay, so I'm going to interrupt the reading for a second. It's obvious that she is responding to someone who has asked for her help in healing through prayer. So that might have been a little confusing. Okay, back to Myrtle Fillmore's words. We will not say that the work we do here has nothing to do with the healing, but we do not promise results unless we have the faith and the cooperation for those for whom we pray and to whom we give instruction. After all, it is not the physical and mental relief that means most to the persons receiving treatment. And we are not so much concerned with the results as we are with the growth in consciousness that will make the results abiding. The health law is threefold: spiritual, keeping a person assured of his God-given freedom from all anxiety and worry and fear and lack; mental, giving him the intelligence that enables him always to do that which promotes health and success; and physical, forming those habits which keep him making the right use of all his faculties and powers and the life, energy, and substance. There is a tendency these days to disregard the harmonious combination of these three elements. One person being very careful to observe the spiritual, another being attentive to the mental, and a third seeking to accomplish results through the physical. Our work is to unify these three and bring our students into the understanding application of the truth of being. One who remembers and lives by the spiritual promises of the law of health will not worry or seek to manage other people's affairs or neglect to feed his soul with that which is necessary to keep it unfolding Christward. One who is aware of the mental side of his health seeks to keep himself free from the limitations of the race mind, the opinions and demands of others, the depressions and hurried attitudes that keep the Christ ideas from finding their perfect expression through his acts and thoughts. One who is determined that his physical life shall show forth the peace and order of the spiritual reality and the divine intelligence, is considerate of his body and careful of his demands upon it. He sees to it that he understands the physical requirements and that he meets these thoughtfully and lovingly every single day. So you see, there is more to our silent unity ministry than a formula of words to be said at different intervals. We want to help you live the Christ life right here and right now, which means to live a life of understanding, trust in the good, of joyous activity, mental and physical, of freedom from fear and worry, of loving contact with your fellows without anxiety as to their apparent shortcomings or selfishness. So we ask you to consider prayerfully the following explanation of your being and to seek to incorporate an understanding of it in your consciousness, using it in your daily living. Being threefold, spirit, soul, body, we find that our expression is also threefold. The harmonious and constructive unfoldments are threefold, and the things that we term undesirable and imperfect and destructive are threefold also. For example, joyous, radiant health is the result of the right spiritual viewpoint, the daily purposeful effort to unfold the faculties and soul qualities, and the daily recognition of the body as the temple of God and the structure that spirit and soul are building. All these prompting us to give careful attention of the needs of the system, and weakness or sickness or inharmony or imperfection in the organism is the result of some failure to identify oneself with God, the divine source, and understand how to lay hold of and express one's inheritance of spiritual powers, some limitation in the soul's development of its riches, some ignorance of the body's requirements, and disregard of the divine law of life and health. Definite study and training are required for righteous expression of our threefold nature. The study and training should be more than our first lessons in life because we are dealing with advanced stages of the same thing. Because of lack of understanding, much must be done over and changed. So if we would have the full free use of our senses and our organs, we must get at the causes of the inharmonies and remove them and establish a new and perfect pattern and plan of action. We do this by remembering that we are God's children, that He created us perfect, and there is a law established within us that will keep us as unfolding harmoniously if we will but recognize it. We who have begun it, find the study of truth of being and the science of living much more fascinating than any school course. To know how to hear with the mind and discern and discriminate between the true and real and worthwhile and that which is mere foolishness and the clatter of elementals not yet organized under the law. And to realize that one may be obedient and receptive without giving up one's own right to freedom of choice and action is a real accomplishment. To know how to see with the mind, to discern and to understand that which the nerves and cells of sight organs report without being disturbed by the masses of manifest substance and the actions of those about one gives real joy and poise. And the eyes themselves are kept strong and steady and equal to the work for which they were formed. To know how to detect that which is adverse and not for one's good, and to refuse to bother oneself about the seeming errors, so that the mind may be free to think out and to register only good. And the nose, the organ that the mind has built up to help it in its work of taking in that which is required and of leading the body into pleasant experiences only, may be kept clean and open and keen to respond. To realize that one has God-given capacity for judging righteous judgment, and to understand that this judgment can and will keep one from bitter experiences and enable one to discriminate in all things, is one of the greatest blessings we have. The faculty of judgment has built the sense of taste. And when we are giving attention to this faculty, our taste helps mightily in the care of our body. There are the other senses, which are equally fascinating and perhaps a bit more subtle. But this is enough to show just what we mean by spiritual study, which re-educates us and enables us to go on from where many of us have stopped. Okay, that was the first letter. Here's the second one, and it's a little shorter than the last one. Here we go. Daily declare that your spiritual life and world, your mental life and world, your physical life and world are unified and that you are expressing harmoniously the ideas of the Christ mind on all these three planes. Know that your everyday physical life can and should be inspired and happy and purposeful, yet not strained and tense, and that it is never necessary to do that which is harmful or weakening to any of the functions or organs in accomplishing what is right and just and worthwhile and expedient. As you practice mentally seeing God's plan in the world in your life, you will find that you are better poised, that you will do just the right thing, and that your body will be healthy. The realm of mind is even more fascinating than the manifestation of its ideas. One who strikes a balance between the study of the mental side and the manifestations, and in living his threefold being, is truly blessed. He is free and joyous and can keep healthy and prosperous. The past does not worry him. The future does not entice him. He knows that a full measure of good is his right here and right now. He profits by the past glories in the now and is fearlessly looking towards the future. Okay, there you have it, the threefold healing pattern. And you know it works. We've got many testimonies and much verification to the healing that happens within us when we right ourselves, mind, body, and soul. Thank you for being with us today. But before we go, please know you matter. You are sacred, and you are so, so very loved. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.